And that is the very first time I've ever used a counter to introduce the Hotness Unleashers show. I hope it worked. Welcome, everybody, to the Hotness Unleashers show, episode 12, the Down Under edition. We have Adem Manderovic, Georgia Watson, David Ketchen here to unleash massive amounts of hotness. I am so thrilled that we have not one, not two, but three comment hosts who I have fondly begun to refer to as Larry, Moe, and Curly, and I expect them to have so much fun in those comments that if you're not there, then I don't know where you would possibly else want to be. So with that, welcome to Hotness Unleashers show. A couple of housekeeping items that we need to take care of. First is let's define hotness unleashing. Okay, so hotness unleashing happens when we pay attention to other people and their work in an intentional way. Okay, that's it. It's based on Dale Carnegie's work from many years ago, that the sweetest sound anybody can hear is the sound of their own name. Okay, it's not complicated, it's not weird, it's just a modern funny way to say it, and I love it, and it appears to be resonating with other folks. So welcome to the show. All right, so the next thing we want to do is acknowledge my oops, that's not the right one. We're going to do this one instead. Acknowledge my employer, Infused Media. Demand Performance Delivered. We are hiring actually right now demand strategists, not just in North America, but in APAC, LATAM, and EMEA. So if you got a demand generation, demand strategy background, give us a call. Might have a match. So with that, I would like to introduce Adem Manderovic. I must also say, I am rocking the Movember look right now, okay? So this mustache is here until the end of the month because mental health is important to me because I happen to be a card-carrying man. And, I'm of a certain age that I'm worried about these things. So rocking the stash, full on horseshoes, my jam, and we're rolling that way. All right, so all that done. Adem, the floor is yours. Let's hear what's going on in Auckland right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on this show. It's been exciting, a long time coming. Super excited to be here. Not a lot today on Saturday. It is a very blustery day, but in general, yes, people probably know me from all my crazy thoughts on creating closed circuits of putting create and capture demand together and coupling that with the right sales actions to create an inbound inquiry stream. So, yeah, that's me.
All right. No, I got to ask. We were talking about this before because it did actually put a smile on my face, which is not that hard to do, but it did nonetheless. The simplest thing. Okay, what do business owners want?
Yep. So they want more revenue.
They want more revenue, right? And you help them do what? Get that.
Yeah, make more money.
That's it. Right?
Yeah.
Faster, cheaper, more money. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Funnily enough, I made a post earlier today about flatter, faster structures, and I made a comparison of traditional models out for outsource sales, outsource agencies versus what I do to make it very, very clear. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of businesses do you typically work with?
So there's three. So basically, I can either offer the framework training, which could be a marketing agency that's engaged with somebody else that needs to solve a problem quicker. It could be done for you services in B2B space or B2B. It doesn't really matter because what I've created is ecosystems of clients that are already going to say yes to what you need. So they like and love what you do. It's just basically deal making by making how I'm doing that in create and capture demand in the same loop. It's just a way of doing that is different of how possibly it's been done before, which is why people generally don't understand at a high level. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, are you working just in New Zealand or do you work globally? Or
no. So the agencies that I'm engaged with right now are only in the US. I've got some other stuff in the UK at the moment. I have absolutely no customers in New Zealand.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you go. So you're an around the clock kind of guy. All right.
Yeah.
One more question. I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass the floor to Georgia, and then we're going to get on with some hotness unleashing. Well, after we talk to David, of course, because he's got that beautiful art there in the background. We got to get to that.
Yeah.
All right, Adem, you have told some very powerful stories of recovery, right? Some extreme challenges, and man, when I read the story, your history, it affected me, right? Like just the fact that you're here and alive and smiling is saying something. So, I mean, that hasn't give us just a tiny insight into kind of how long that process has taken you and how broken you were back in, when that was, how far you've come.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for those that know or have listened to my features on other podcasts where I've told that story, would know that most of my life I trained to be an athlete to make my dad proud. So I had to basically pull on and draw on that after not being able to walk when I broke nearly every bone in my body in 2006. When they said that I'd never stand or put my feet on the ground. So I'm like, okay, no, I'll be playing footy in 4 years. Don't worry about that. So I did that. But how I did that was pretty, just finding ways, because basically the doctor said there was no way. So I lent on some early study that I did many years before of just getting movement back in each foot, ankle, knee, hip, back, etc. How long did it take, to answer your question? 4 years I was back playing Div 1 football.
Okay.
I couldn't move like the same as I could before, and I still get a constant amount of pain. Yeah. But it kind of changes your perspective on everything, because if you can survive that, you can find a way to win in any situation. So I guess that's how it happened. Unfortunately, I did get also hit by a car once I moved to Christchurch.
Jeez, man.
So that again hurt my spinal cord.
I mean, it's not funny. It's terrible. It's just so terrible. What else can you do? You know?
So I had to kind of go through that process again of getting all those movements back and be not sensitive to light and sound. That's not a fun experience, and I don't wish that upon anyone, because you literally can't even watch like television or watch stuff on your laptop. I was literally watching shows on my phone because it was just enough light that I could, that's all I could do. So that was a process. But if you take that with everything that you do, you're always going to be looking for the best way to do stuff, the fastest way to get the best outcome. So that's probably what I've learned.
Dude, I'm just astounded. And I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that I've met you and that you're part of this world and you're part of this community. And thank you for sharing that story, because it is powerful. It is inspiring. All right. So with that, we're going to pass to Georgia. Georgia, what do you got for us today?
Well, first of all, I think I need to give you all an apology. You guys might not understand, but the people in the chat might. I think I have a bit of like makeup in my eye and it's driving me crazy. So if you see tears falling down, it may be me laughing at David jokes, or it may just be the mascara in my eye. So just excuse that. So a bit about me. You guys know that I'm into sales enablement. So similar area to Adam, I'm really passionate about inclusion, diversity, and the power of collective knowledge. So super involved in Social Saturday because of that, and run a thread, a pre-party every weekend for Social Saturday. So Jamie, maybe you can drop the link in there for us. I've had this really kind of windy journey in my career and my life. And right now, what I do in sales enablement, it's about helping sellers and helping organizations to make more money. And I do that by improving skills and culture, basically, is what I do. But in addition to that, I am also a super mom. So I don't know if anyone here has played superheroes with their kids, but that takes a super kind of energy, and Spider-Man is our thing. So there are webs to dodge, there are baddies to catch, and if I'm lucky, I'll catch a few minutes like hiding behind the couch, that impenetrable fortress, to reload before it's like high energy and all action again.
That's so good. That's so funny. I love it. I've so been there. How old? What age are we talking about here?
So they're 6 and 8 years old now.
Okay.
So I think it might be coming to the end. The older one is not as into it as the younger one.
You've got time. And I highly, with every ounce of sincerity that I possess, stretch it out as far as possible, because when it's really over, it really sucks. I got to tell you, I miss it so much. So I know it's I know it's physically exhausting. I know that.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know, but have fun. Force yourself to have fun. I gotta say, it's just, that's how it is.
Yeah. And I have heard that before. So I am trying to make the most of it. I think when you're in it, it's like, oh God, I just want to sit down, But yeah, I am really trying to embrace that. And, I have a bit of a thing, like, I love Marvel and all that anyway, but I'm really big on superheroes and I talk about it all the time. So I spent the last 2 days, emceeing a sales enablement conference. And again, I'm talking about superheroes. And the reason being mostly is because like each of us, we all have like our special superpower, right? We have this thing, this skill, this value, something that we can do that is next level compared to everyone else. And it's kind of something that we really need to figure out for ourselves and optimize. And it's a huge advantage once you know. And some people, they have like a whole tool belt of all these superpowers that they can just draw on whenever they need it. But yeah, I have had this kind of crazy journey. I don't know whether you want me to share a bit about that.
I
Trevor?
do. I actually asked you about that before, so I'm glad you brought it up. But I like it. So when I first met you, right? The thing that stood out to me is like, okay, here's Georgia, and she's doing this Social Saturday launch thread, and she's in Dubai. Okay. And then the next thing I know, you're not there. And I still had it in my head you were there because that was my it was the original Georgia brand, Dubai. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened? Give us like the little version of like, how does one do that? Like, make that change.
It's kind of been like a multi-step process. So obviously I'm on this show and it's 11 a.m. for me in the morning. So I am now in Australia, and I started my life in Australia. And at one point I went to Africa for 1 month, and I wound up in Nigeria. It was a really cool project. And I'm not exactly sure at what point, but that 1 month turned into 8 years in Nigeria.
So you were in Nigeria for 8 years.
Yeah, I lived and worked from Nigeria for 8 years, covering like Middle East and Africa as my scope. And what happened, and this is kind of sort of why I got involved in LinkedIn. So about 6 years in, the economy crashed. The area I was in was not so great anymore from a safety perspective. And I'm like, okay, company, I am ready to come out now.
Yeah,
bring me back.
Yes.
And people in the company said like, oh, who are you? Like, what have you been doing? My world had become so small. Like my team and I were doing amazing stuff, getting great results, but in this little bubble of Africa, right? And I wasn't telling people what we were doing internally, and in a giant multinational, that can be a problem. And I definitely wasn't sharing things externally. So it nearly took me 2 years to actually get out of Nigeria and get a job that I wanted in Dubai to get over there and do that. And so that was my first wake up call, like, I need to do something differently in how I communicate about myself, both internally and externally. And so, I moved across with the same employer, and then I lived and worked in the Middle East for 4 years, and that was really cool. And 3 months ago, I actually started a new job back in Australia, in Melbourne, where I'm from, and it was very full circle. It's even back with the same employer in the same office where I started 17 years ago.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
Back through those same shiny doors again. So very, very deja vu.
Wow, what a story. Fantastic. All right, I love it. So we're on a time schedule. All right, so we're going to move now to David. David, look at this guy. Look at that art behind you. I want to hear your story a little bit. Fill everybody in. They're dying to hear from you right now. So David, what do you got for us?
Can I just have my coffee? Is it okay? I just come to LinkedIn for coffee, honestly. I mean, all you guys,
and art.
I used to do sales. Did sales for years. And so it's kind of funny having us all here, all involved in the sales side. And then when I started on LinkedIn, I was trying to sell my consulting. And I realized that was a waste of time. There was no one there who was going to read my posts and go, oh, you know what, David, yeah, come and do strategic consulting for us. So I thought, what the hell, I'm going to just come here and have coffee and have a laugh. That's, so look, I brought it along. This is it. You probably can't read it back to front. It says, I love coffee, ring for a refill. So here we go, live. Nice. We're going to see if it works.
Okay.
So it's just false advertising.
False advertising. But I saw you at a French press there somewhere.
Yeah. It's an emergency, like in case if that doesn't work, I just let's just preload some more here.
There you go. All right. So you're free to drink as much coffee on the show as you want. All right. There is precedence for that. So go for it. Look at this. George is all in. We got the coffee.
Cheers.
We are ready. All right. And that I'm looking at this picture of Nausheen behind you. And it is gorgeous, right? It is a fantastic example of your artwork, and the other ones are mostly there, but not completely. And so thank you for sharing that. And I have just been astounded by, your humility around the processes that you go through, and the quality of the work that you do, man. I mean, it's inspiring, right? I keep thinking, I keep thinking I got my game together, right? And then you come out and you do like a video of making, and then it's just like, oh, I can't. It's like now I got to take it to another level. So you're pushing me, even if you don't know it, in doing something totally different, but still inspiring me to kind of keep getting after it and doing better every day. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here and, drinking coffee and having a good time, because I got to tell you, man, you are seriously one of the most popular people out here right now. And I mean, you're just hitting it. You're hitting the right tone, and I can see it. People love it. And I'm just thrilled to have you here. So with that, it is time to get to unleash a little hotness. All right. So the way this works for everybody. Okay. This is the fun part, right? So we're going to go where everybody's going to take a turn. So it'll be Adam, Georgia, David, then me. And then we'll repeat. We'll do it 3 times, and then we're going to probably be out of time, and then we'll close up. We'll look forward to what's coming next week, and we'll be done. We'll sign off, and we'll be out of here. So with that, Adam, who is your first Hotness Unleasher?
My first is Skafti.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, all right, hang on. Are you sure about that?
I hope so.
No one is sure about
hang on. Have we some difficulty here?
All right, because I kind of think
rotated.
it might.
So hang on. So we just.
I want the ones that you named, not the ones that were named.
Okay. Right. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sure. My first person is Charlotte Lloyd.
Okay. Gotcha. Here is Charlotte's cover.
Charlotte.
All right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you love about Charlotte?
So she is absolutely everywhere on LinkedIn. She's giving sales tips to basically help people get better from the SDR function to the AE and the closing. She does an amazing job at every single tip she gives away every single day. She has a really good TikTok as well. She has one of the best podcasts that I've heard. So get onto that, Simply Sales and Marketing. If you are either new to the game or you want to change up your skills, definitely give Charlotte a follow.
Yes.
Man.
I would 100% second that. She's fantastic. And whether you're in like sales or selling or not, like she is also great. So love her sales content. Her, as Adam said, her it's fabulous. But she also shares stuff that's relevant to kind of like everybody. Like the post I loved the other day, she just did like a super simple post about saying no. Like how often have you said no? Do you feel comfortable saying no? But these are things we have to do. So I love her for that too, beyond like just the sales stuff. Sorry, Trevor, I think I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I'm connected with Charlotte, but I haven't gotten a chance to know her yet. And so this is the fun part, right? The fun part is like I get like intentionally creating a community, right? Sort of slowly but surely makes it doable, right? And so that's kind of what we're doing here. Like Charlotte and I should overlap a lot, right? I'm in sales. I do sales all the time, and as do you, Adam. I mean, so it's like, yeah, like here's why like we want to invite her in. And if she's creating content out here and she's inspiring others and she's paying attention to other people and not just to herself, bring it, right? All in. So congratulations, Charlotte. You are Hotness Unleasher. Okay, so now we're going to go to Georgia. So Georgia, name your Hotness Unleasher, not David's, mine, or Adam's.
Okay, my own first Hotness Unleasher. First, let me tell you, I had a really hard time coming up with 3 names. So I kind of developed like a little criteria. So for me, there were people who had to be adding like maximum value in the area of their superpower. They had to be kind of living that new LinkedIn approach by sharing, being open, connecting, collaborating. And then they also had to be someone who was involved in Social Saturday, because I think this is kind of where that show was born. So they were the 3 kind of lens that I looked through all of this with. And the first one is someone who, when you think like you're good at what you do, like, oh, I've got this. I know about this stuff. This is what I do. And then you meet someone and they blow your mind. Like they are just taking it to the whole new level. So Jilli Warwicker is my first Hotness Unleasher. Now, I don't know if you guys know her. She doesn't have a huge following, but she is next level. She talks about skills. She talks about mindsets. She talks about culture, attitude, and her content is really, really great. So I work in the area of skills, but if you don't, she has great posts around like what skills do you need to succeed? You know, and in anything, it doesn't matter whether you're a career changer, you're a job seeker, we all need to future-proof our careers. And we do that by our skills. Like we know the jobs that exist today and the skills that most of us use are not going to be the ones that are going to help us in 10 years, in 15 years. Everything is changing so fast. So Jilli is all over this stuff and she has so much information around skills that you need, attitudes, mindsets. So really encourage you to connect with Jilli and dig into her content. So she is my first Hotness Unleasher.
Now, as you can see by my screen capture here, that I am connected to Jilli. Thank goodness, because sometimes I'm not, and then I have to go fix that right away. Man,
well, I'd second that with Jilli too. Like, there's a lot of people who aren't really thrashing Social Saturday. They kind of, maybe they're a little bit more browsing through the delicatessen, as it were, and going, you know what, I just want that person and that person. So it's not like Jilli's got thousands of followers, but what she says is worth listening to. And I've certainly enjoyed engaging with her as well. So, yep, thumbs up for Jilli.
Nice. Well, you know, one of the things I haven't really talked about too much. Actually, I haven't talked about it at all. I was going to post about it earlier today, and I'll post about it tomorrow, in fact. But today I signed up for a certification course with the Product Marketing Alliance to get up my skills around product marketing. I mostly, even as a full cycle seller, I mostly do product marketing. Like when you really look at like what that is, and yet I have to change the perception that all I do is sell, right? And I have to up level my skills. I have to move because the closer role, particularly in tech, is diminishing, and it's important. It is being kind of moved out, and it just isn't the same as it used to be. So if I don't adapt to that, I'm going to be out of a job. And I got at least 20 more years, assuming I stay healthy. So thank you to Jilli for shining a light on that need and making it a real thing. And thank you for bringing her to the table. Love it. Okay, David, you're up. Who is your Hotness Unleasher?
All right. So the first one, it's really hard. So I'm just going to say Team Nigeria. And I came across Team Nigeria. There we go. I wondered how you were going to represent that. So I came across Team Nigeria through Social Saturday, and still do. Mm-hmm. You know, they've got the noisiest parties that go on for Social Saturday. And I think my most popular post ever was when I referenced that, you know, Social Saturday is when 20,000 Nigerians come out and dance.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. But you see, I used to come from a business world where I was designing and developing high energy teams. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that had to do with how people communicated with each other. And I'm fascinated when I watch Team Nigeria work together and how they cheer each other on, because I see so many elements of high energy teams and how they work together. So I'm totally with Team Nigeria. They've been so supportive and kind to me. I can't speak more highly of them for unleashing hotness across LinkedIn.
I got to go with you, and I know, Georgia, you got to be dying to say so much here, but I'm gonna let me get my 2 bits in first, okay? So I think about, when you said Team Nigeria, I had this image available because I had done a post similarly, you know, several months ago, and I used this actually in that post, and it was a similar kind of sentiment, right? Like, holy crap, I have got like 300 people from Nigeria. At the time it was like 274, I think, and I'm up to like 361 now. So they literally represent like I don't know, 5% of my follower base or something. And and it's outstanding. I can count like Okoye Chinelo and Fund Me and Precious Akabundo and Faith Ilori and Joseph Monday. If you haven't read Joseph Monday's stuff, now he doesn't publish as much as I want him to, but that dude can write. Okay, he has an ability to communicate that is moving and powerful. And I look and I'm like, dude, come on, give me something. I need a taste. I need some more. And so I'm totally down with that. And the thing that grinds me is the fact that LinkedIn is not showing me content that is originating out of New Jersey. I have to go look. I have to go.
Oh, really?
Look. No,
mine's loaded.
That's
absolutely. I open it up. Nigeria.
I got nothing. I have to go literally out and intentionally open up profiles and pull it in. So there you go. The algo ain't working the same in my world as it is in yours. And so we can work against that. So anyway, I know, Georgia, you got to be dying. All right. So
I'm so happy to hear this shout out. And let me just relay a small message to the folks in, if I may, Trevor. So all I wanted to say is like, Team Nigeria, how far? If you can send this my Weibo pigeon, I get small gist for you, and I get a problem. You don't bring wahala for me, Team Niger. Every Saturday, Social Saturday comes around. Niger wakes up. You know what to happen? My LinkedIn, it know the work again. The thing, the crash. I go restart them, the thing, the crash. And the thing go crash until you decide to go chop and rest. Then my LinkedIn, it will work again. But second thing, Team Niger, you don't sweet us well. The way you do this LinkedIn, you go for the handle. The way you come is so strong. The quality, the consistency. Now, well, for you is great. Love it. So I go clap for you, Niger.
Okay. That right there, I think, is the best moment that I have experienced on this show to date. Period. You are the winner right there.
We'll just pack it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'll leave my second
Ring
class.
Ring that bell. Oh.
Yeah,
Damn,
David, I'll be
that
down
was
shortly,
good.
mate.
Okay. I still got the goosebumps, man. I'm bumpy.
You know why, right? And so this is like pidgin English. So this is like, it's a kind of a cut down version of English that is commonly used in Nigeria. And it is the most fun thing ever. Like the sayings and everything are just so fun. You can get so much energy and character into like what you're saying beyond like Queen's English. It's amazing, and I loved it. And there's so many different languages in Nigeria too, right? And when I first went there, nobody could understand my Australian accent. It was much more Australian than this. So rather than go and learn, Igbo and Yoruba and Efik and all these languages, I'm like, oh well, I'll just learn to speak Pidgin and then I can talk to everybody. So that's what I tried to do.
Well, and props to you too. I mean, because you lived there for 8 years, so
yeah,
you can claim that, right? You can claim it. You're not. It's legit, and man, thank you for sharing that. I'm just completely blown away. Okay, with that, I have to collect myself. Okay, my Hotness Unleasher. My first one is going to be. I'm just kind of rolling through my list here. It's going to be Jen Intes, and I had similar criteria as you, Georgia. Jen has been a force of nature in this Social Saturday experience for me. Okay, so she literally, I know when Jen is on the move, because like she'll come to my profile and she'll just hit, just like, and I'll just see her like in action. And then she posted this really this face dance post the other day that was so good and so just like not anything I've really seen before, and I love how she pays attention, and when she pays attention, you've got all of it, right? And that to me is really what a Hotness Unleasher is all about, where you feel like you're just the center of their world, and that she's out here to just make it bigger and more connected. And so love that she's part of my world, and I would have been remiss if I didn't acknowledge her as one of my Hotness Unleashers at some point during this show. So Jen, you are my Hotness Unleasher, and I would love to hear if anybody else has seen her around and worked with her.
when Jen comes into a post, I always think she's so graceful. It's like, oh, Jen's here. It's really lovely when she comes in, and you see how she comments on other people's posts. Some people have just got such a nice way of engaging, and often that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a connection as well. You want to see how they actually engage with others, and you go, I want that. I want to be part of that, and get them to share with your tribe as well.
Yeah.
So nice shout out for Jen.
Yeah. Jen is just such a. She's just like part of that fabric, you know. You're just like, I'm just so glad that she's here and she's part of our universe. And yeah, and Jamie, thank you for noting that. I did want to mention that she does not have an about me section. I love that, and it's so brave. It's so like, I don't need to know about me section. You can learn about me in my comments. You know, that's all you need to know. It's just like, you know, I would just so have to toe the line all the time. Thank you, Jamie. Really appreciate you you calling that one out, because I did notice that earlier. It's like, dang, I wish I could get away with no about me section. Anyway, all right. So Jen, you're a Hotness Unleasher. Adam, all right. Well, now we're going to go to the second Hotness Unleasher, and it better be yours.
It is. All right. Okay. All right. First, this person comes and gives so much value to everyone that wants to learn on LinkedIn, but also blends that algorithm / this is how you grow and real life storytelling into one place. And that person is Bree Davila. Now, we came across each other because we were trying to, obviously through a lot of my posts, I give advice on how to grow faster. And that's probably tilted from a business perspective, like these are the actions you need to take. This is who you level up next to. But what I found about Bree is she was the best I've seen with breaking down how she has gone through her experiences of how the algorithm works, and then is giving her time in those posts to give that knowledge to others to help them succeed. So, I was blown away with that. I invited her on my show, Better Business Building Podcast. Check it out. It was a really good episode. She's absolutely everywhere. She has an amazing blend of how she does that. She's massive on Social Saturday, but she also blends a lot of her life stories interwoven into how she does that with business on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, it couldn't be anyone else.
Man,
there you go.
I first came across Bree similar, right? And I don't hit her content as much as you do, but she told a story of how she thwarted traffickers, right? Who were casing her business. Scared the living crap out of me, man. I mean, like, are you insane? Like, this is crazy stuff. And how she was able to not get kidnapped. I mean, it's like, like it was killing me. So yeah, she has an amazing talent for storytelling and just literally, that presence that feels real. And, you know, she's always posing with babies and stuff. and so, yes, it has that balance of like, I'm super serious. This is real stuff. This is real, like algo is business. And yet guess what? I'm living my life too. I'm sharing that with you. Yeah. So yeah, totally dig it. All right. Well, we're going to go to our next Hotness Unleasher because Bree, you're Adams right now. All right. We're going to go to Georgia. Georgia, who is your second Hotness Unleasher?
So my second Hotness Unleasher was one of my early connections in Social Saturday when it kind of just kicked off. And I didn't realize until months and months later that he was actually in the same country that I am in now. When we connected, we weren't, but he is also in Australia. So he is the author of Unlike a Boss. It is Alexander N. Andrews.
Boom.
So he is my second Hotness Unleasher, and for two reasons. Alexander he's the cheerleading bomb. Like, he is amazing. You want him in your team. He is such a positive, proactive supporter. It's amazing. The second thing is what he shares about. his book is about helping people lead better, be better leaders today, than they were yesterday, and really looking at it from a humanistic kind of angle, how to care about people, inspire and empower. And he posts around this kind of stuff. And again, so back to skills, all of us can be better leaders. And it doesn't matter whether you're a leader in your job title or what you do or where you fit. Leadership is one of those skills that I would say, along with sales, is something that we all need to be able to do in any context. So I encourage people to go and check out Alexander's content. And I'm looking forward to reading his book. I haven't read it yet. Don't tell him that. But I'm
you just did.
To read it. Sorry, Alexander.
Oh, look, he's here. All right, Alexander, look here. He has tears. This is so great. All right, so Alexander, right now, man, I can see that you're here, and this is why we're doing it now. All right, because not that I knew you were going to be the Hotness Unleasher, but listen, okay, by doing it at 8 a.m. on my Saturday morning, you guys were out, right? You were in the cold, you were asleep at 4 a.m. or whatever it was, right? So I am thrilled that we can all be together and that you guys aren't in the middle of your night. And please add some more color to your experiences with Alexander, David, and Adam, if you have them. I mean, one thing I do want to say is that I kind of went back to the early days of the Hotness Unleashers show. And I did tag Alexander in as kind of one of the, first, but he wasn't announced, right? He didn't get time. We didn't get to talk about it, right? And I have just literally been so impressed with the way he shows up, right? He's busy. Yeah, he's got a lot going on. Yeah, he wrote this book and he's trying to get, and his brand and his book are tight. And yet I see him and he shows up and he's just like just in a different way than Jen, but in a way that's real and is a yes, Bree, you were a Hotness Unleasher, right? And he cares for people. That's the feeling that I get. That he's just like with some depth, some gravity. So I've really enjoyed getting to know him over the last few months. It's been great.
Yeah, I love what you just shared, Trevor, and it's the authenticity and how genuine he is too, that I think, why so many of us are drawn to him and his content.
Perfect. All right, Alexander, it's about time, man. It's about time that you are now officially covered as a Hotness Unleasher. All right, in the Down Under edition, no less. So you're here to hear it. All right, David, who is your second Hotness Unleasher?
All right. Well, there's people who create content that's really hot. And you go, wow, I just want to read that. But there's other people who sort of slip under the radar, but they're commenting everywhere. And they're actually bringing that content up into your feed. And so I'd do a shout out to Suhasmitha, who sort of goes by Suhas, I think is how it's pronounced.
There she is.
She's just fantastic.
Now I went in and I listened to her pronunciation, right? Because she has one, right? And I think it's Suhasmitha. That's what I heard. So So there we go. And I mean, what more can you say? I mean, I'm a little speechless. Sorry, I ran out of words all of a sudden. Because help me out, people. Come on.
That's the power of LinkedIn, right? So people that have the ability to curate on other people's great body of work gets the power to everybody else for them the ability to see it. So that's why it's so important to engage on multiple levels so that does transpire. So
Yeah, Suhasmitha she's amazing. I'm not sure whose comments she is not in. And honestly, how do you do it? You are everywhere putting so much good stuff into people's feeds and supporting so many people and really different kind of content. And you always have something interesting to say. Yeah, extra clap for you from me too.
Yes, I'm really thrilled. I love it when we can highlight people who don't have 50,000 followers, right? I mean, none of us really do, but I mean, it's like when we're just kind of there, and I've got a couple in the back of my mind who are really making some noise in my world right now. and Suhasmitha is definitely one of them, right? I mean, like I concur. I see her, right? She just, you just like bam, 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 And I agree. Like, how do you do that? I don't know. I don't know how you keep
It's
up.
a lot of time. It's a lot of time she spends helping others out. And that's really where the hotness she unleashes is kindness. And I think that's extra special.
Yeah, I genuinely feel that too. I've been noticing her for quite some time. So yeah, it's great. I really appreciate you brought her up. So Suhasmitha, you are the Hotness Unleasher. All right, so now we're going to go to mine. And this is actually I'm going to go kind of with a newer name in my space right now, and we're going to go with and I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to butcher it because I know that I did listen to her pronunciation like 4 times, but it's one of those that you can listen to like over and over and over again because she's English accent, right? And it's just perfect. So I'm pretty sure Renate Linnenkoper, and I'm gonna. If you guys haven't met her yet, please do. All right, she speaks with kind of a like. I mean, she's kind, but she's also your like this. She's all into superheroes, right? All into Marvel, right? And she asked this fantastic question the other day: "What's your favorite? What's your favorite franchise? Star Wars, Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings?" And I'm like, how can I pick? How can I? What? They're all the best, right? They're all the best, and it's. And then she's posting about like the sucky English weather right now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind being in Greece right now. Come on. And then so I kind of pipe up like, hey, I got the heat turned on. She's like, well, I'm trying to save some money, and I don't want to do that. So she's real, and she's like talking about real stuff, and she's making money, right? She's got a business, and I love that. Like she gets out, and so she posted. She has a good balance of like, how do you talk about your life? How do you talk about some of your challenges? And then how do you talk about like your business? And she put it straight out there. Here's what I do. Here's the price. Okay, this is the thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. Because I've been a little down on the whole post slap thing, but it's a balancing act, right? It's what we want is to say, hey, I want to know about your experience working in your business. I want to know about the experience that I'm going to have, right? Or how you got here, or maybe other people and things like that. I don't necessarily want to know how you can help me with a problem, except for sometimes I do, right? Not every time, but sometimes yes. And so I really appreciate that bravery, just putting it out there, like, yeah, okay, we're good, and then owning that. So Renate, you are my Hotness Unleasher, and I'm just curious if you guys run up with her. Has anybody had any interaction with her yet?
I've not come across, but I am going to be checking her out after this.
Me too.
Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Perfect. All right. So, Renate, you are my second Hotness Unleasher, which leads us to the third round, right? And we've got time. Look at this. I can't hardly believe it. Like we're just on schedule, people. That's what it is. It must be this down under action. Okay.
Well, Adam, just great leadership.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, I know what I'm doing now. Okay, so with that, and I don't think I've seen Jamie yell at me for being off track, but we'll make sure it happens. Okay, Adam, floor's back to you. Who is your third and final Hotness Unleasher?
Okay, so without further ado, my third person is absolutely everywhere. He goes over and above with explaining his content, whether that's in long written form or in video. He has an agency that helps you either do that as a done-for service or a done-with-you service, but he's also now heading up some of the a new type of sales system with the Sales Fellowship. His name is Mr. Mark Banks. So, Mark and I talk a fair bit about a lot of alignments that we share on doing sales and marketing better with go-to-market strategy. We're completely aligned on all of that. What he's now doing with Sales Fellowship, you really need to check it out because, as you know, with what I do in closed circuits is a lot of that is partnership-based by building those ecosystems. He has a different version of that with the Sales Fellowship. So if you want a non-abrasive way to get more business in a cost-effective manner, check him out. So yeah, great content.
Yeah, that's a great one. I really like Mark's stuff as well. If for those interested, he has a podcast that he does as well that he kicked off this year. So he has some really interesting different kind of guests on that as well. So heaps of amazing stuff if you are in sales or you want to go into sales. His like content is amazing for that. But if you're also interested in like, I need to be doing something a bit better about how I'm selling myself, but you're not like a salesperson or a seller, I think
to learn, especially like for older, seasoned and jaded, cynical old guys like me, from different perspectives, right? You bring it in, it's kind of keep an open mind, and then for folks who maybe aren't sellers but want to kind of understand that mindset, right? Because it is a mindset. There is a DNA mutation that happens, and to kind of get that, figure that out, I think is important. So I appreciate Mark being highlighted. Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Can I put my hand up? I'm sorry.
A tissue for Georgia.
Oh, it's driving me insane. Thank you. I'll take that.
So
I love it. I might pop out and get one shortly. But what I did want to say, Trevor, I just wanted to add to your comment, right? We are always selling ourselves all the time, like in any interaction that you're having. So Trevor, it doesn't matter whether you're old and cynical or jaded or you're young and fresh and starting out. We need to be thinking about, how am I selling myself? And selling isn't like that old school dodgy secondhand car salesman anymore. Like it's totally changed from that. But it's like, how are you positioning yourself for your own advantage in what you want to do? Totally. Sorry, I just had to say that.
No, thank you. Thank you for adding that. And with that, you still have the floor because it's now to you.
My final Hotness Unleasher. She may not be here with us live, but she is here with us. She is right over David's corner. My third Hotness Unleasher is Nausheen Chen. I have just had such a blast watching Nausheen like this last 6 months from, where she kind of started on LinkedIn to now this like LinkedIn powerhouse sharing amazing goodness in how to lift your speaking game. And so public speaking, again, is a bit like sales, right? If it's something that it's really advantageous if you can do it or get better at it. And, and even if it's like small incremental change, it's good. So Nausheen shares a lot of really practical kind of tips on how to improve your speaking. And so her tagline is on stage, on camera, and in person. So it can be on meetings, it can be in virtual, whatever it is, like however you're doing it, there's something that you can take from her content and apply. And so it's something that I'm always working on. So I really enjoy her content because of that. And I've picked up lots of things. And I just want to mention 2 other names, just in case people are also working on this. So 2 other people who kind of focus on this area, whose content I really love as well, is Ravi Rajani. So if you're in sales, definitely follow him. He has some great stuff, particularly for salespeople around speaking, but also for non-sellers, and Alistair Davies as well. So there's just a couple of other people if you are interested in that. So Nausheen, you are my third and final Hotness Unleasher.
With 2 bonus unleashers, just sort of sneaked them in there. Well done.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So David, I want to know how this beautiful artwork came about. All right. So there's a story there, and I'd like to hear it.
Okay. So I'd been on, just the last 2.5 years, I decided to go on a journey of doing 50 paintings. I was going to teach myself how to paint. And occasionally I'd do a portrait of someone here on LinkedIn, just someone who touched me. And I thought, it'd be quite nice to see if I could replicate that in a portrait. And I'd got to my 50th painting, and I had a dancer set up because I love painting dancers. And Nausheen had done this post, quite a serious post. I'd call it a pity post, but we won't talk about that anymore. So she's able to dial her emotions up and down because she used to do improv. She knows how to act. And so she had this quite sad post, but her eyes looked fantastic. And I thought, wow, I'm going to grab that. And I'd asked her if I could do a painting. But, you can see in the profile that you've got of her, she's so photogenic and owns her brand so beautifully.
Yeah.
She's never going to get rid of that purple hair now. That's it. You're done for life.
That is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I did a bit of a switch and bait and got a sad one, but she's managed to process it because so many people commented and said that it was good. And through Nausheen, I'm launching my own business. So she's the first one up on my YouTube channel that's just started. There we are. Everyone, go to my YouTube channel. David Ketchen, pastel artist.
Okay. David's YouTube channel. All right. And so, yeah, congratulations to Nausheen. Love that you brought her up. She's the third Hotness Unleasher. All right. That means that I'm the last one to go.
Whoa, no, you missed someone.
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, because you were talking and I forgot because I do that sometimes. David,
let's do it quickly.
Yeah, no, not quick. We got 9 minutes left. We're good. You could dive in. Okay.
So there's Hotness Unleash, right?
Yes.
And then there is Hotness Uncontained. I have a special weapon that I bring along to LinkedIn, and I just let it loose on people's posts, and they just explode in GIFs. And that special weapon is Skafti. I believe it's Eliason. And Skafti's fantastic. We sort of came across on a Social Saturday post, I think, and he asked some questions, and we started talking in DM. And I explained to him that LinkedIn is like a game. It's all that LinkedIn. It's exactly like a massive multiplayer online game. I just see the similarities all the time. Boosting, what you can get and guilds and who's fighting who. It's so similar. It's got all the same dopamine hits, understandably, from Microsoft, who now owns it, are doing all the same gamifications that they've done on Xbox. So Skafti understood that because he's a big World of Warcraft fan. So I started taking him on guild raids, and we'd go drop on someone's post. I'd say, "Hey, Skafti, come here." And I'd drop some gifts, and away he'd go. And then he gets all excited, and his hotness exploded. And then you've got to say, "No, it's time to go to bed now. It's time to go to bed. Turn it off."
I love it. I love it. Just playing the game, man. I mean, it's so good. That's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I Skafti, kudos to you. You are amazing, and I love that analogy, David. That is so fantastic. Yeah, Skafti is everywhere. He's one of those another amazing people that you just think, how does he do it? How do you find the time and the energy to just go around pumping people up all day, every day? It's fantastic, and I love it. So great. Yeah, thanks for shouting him out, David. I love it.
Okay, I love it too. So, Skafti, you are the Hotness Unleasher, man. Welcome to the club. All right. I think I got everybody right around here. Redefining terms, throwing extra people in. All right. So I'm going to finish up here with, let's turn this one off here. So I have I have to look on the other side of my mic to over here. All right. So I am going to be selecting somebody who has been around since day one, more or less, since I showed up again. And I see her all the time, and she's just right there. And it's going to be Fihmya Hamden. And I know pretty much everybody here in the chat knows Fihmya, loves Fihmya, because what's not to, right? So she literally just landed a new gig as a community manager and is totally into that. She was interviewed by Tony Albrecht, and so she and Aaron Barello were on this podcast, and I'm listening to it while I'm trying to get going on my treadmill again, and literally she's just all over the place now. I see her everywhere, and thoroughly enjoying what she brings and her presence, contribution all the time. And so she's another one where it's just look, if I didn't find a way to get Fihmya into this conversation, into this club, I wouldn't be doing my job. So Fihmya, you are my Hotness Unleasher. Sure, you guys have a similar experience with her. I mean,
and suddenly there's silence.
And suddenly there's you guys are just speechless. Okay, I mean, bring it. You got to have some stories, out here. I mean, because she's just everywhere.
Yeah, I
everywhere. Yeah. Sorry, Georgia, you go.
No, go ahead, David.
Well, so some people you just see popping up. So I guess we're in sort of, I don't have that many connections, but you start seeing familiar posts where people come in and out of. And she certainly dropped into my posts. It's just lovely. And I think that what a great job she's landed too as community manager, because that's so her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's all about community.
Yeah. And I would even say,
what else I've seen? Yeah.
Sorry, all I was going to say is, it's like, even in her banner, it's like it's community and relationships, right? So even beyond that community, it's the one-to-one relationships. I was thinking about this, many people are building like communities on LinkedIn, but I think some people are actually like changing cultures as well, like in their little world and on the whole of LinkedIn. And I think Fihmya and a few of the other people we have mentioned today are doing that. Like they're really making that big shift in changing the culture on LinkedIn, not just building communities also.
And that's why she's a Hotness Unleasher right there. I mean, you could, how much better could you say it? All right. So we got 3 minutes left. We are on schedule, right? So we're going to wrap this thing up. All right. So guys, I want to know what's cooking. And there was a request, Georgia, for a close in Pigeon. So I know. You can go last. You go last. We'll shut down with you. Okay. So, Adam, what's cooking next for the next week?
I'm just really working on a lot of my done for you services to really build out more of the messaging so people can understand the comparison of traditional modeling versus what I do and what we do is a lot quicker, faster, at a reduced operating cost. So you'll see a lot more of those posts this week. And check it out. I've got the update buckets on the website, stuff like that, if you want to have a look. Yeah, the way that we're doing that is basically building an ecosystem of clients for you, and then obviously making sure that you have a surefire way to victory. So yeah, love that explained.
All right, Can't wait to see it. All right, David, what do you got cooking next week?
I'm doing a painting of someone from Team Nigeria, Isaac.
Nice.
And so I'll be uploading the video and a story about Isaac this time next week.
Love it. And I love that Robert Younger identified the eyes just like that. Like he just like, bam. He's like, no excuses, no apologies. No, is it maybe? No, he just like, bam, just hit it. Loved that. And I can't wait to see how that comes together. All right. So for me, it's my birthday on Wednesday. So that's happening.
62 already.
He's 67, actually. So that's it. No, listen, we're getting there. All right. I actually get to meet some folks down in Seattle, Robert Younger and Julie McVeigh and Beth Henkes and hang out for a little bit. That's happening. IRL. You're going to see some pictures. That's going to be awesome. And I'm taking a couple days off, right? I want to fast track this Product Marketing Alliance certification course that I'm now signed up for and doing, so I can continue to stay relevant and sharp as I head into my 87th year. So all right, Georgia, bring us home.
Okay, so maybe I'll do two versions. So for my my Niger peeps, I don't tire or I won't rest next week. And I hear but just body the inside cloth. So for me, it's been a huge week last week. I spent a couple of days emceeing a conference, and so I'm so tired and exhausted. So I think next week might be a little bit of a quieter week for me on LinkedIn. But what I am going to be focusing on is off the back of the conference. I'm very involved in a group called Sales Enablement Society, and we run chapters all around the globe. I'm one of the chapter directors. And so off the back of the conference, it's going to be mobilizing people to get them involved in chapters and building those communities there. So that's what I'll be doing. And I'll be taking some time for myself to rest a bit as well. So you may not see me in your comments as much next week.
Okay, well, have fun. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for bringing us home. Thanks to everybody who showed up today, and Jamie and Kristen and Gretchen for hosting the comments. Love you guys. You were amazing. And with that, we are done. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cool. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.